What's up, guys? My name is Luca Kassab, and welcome back to Fresh on Clips. The NBA playoffs conference finals begins tonight with Minnesota against the OKC Thunder, and then we have tomorrow night the Eastern Conference side, the 4 seed Indiana Pacers against the 3 seed New York Knicks. So let's start with the Wolves series in the West. Wolves Thunder, 6 seed versus 1 seed. And who would have thought that the Wolves were going to be here right now? They got a tough first round matchup with Luca and LeBron on paper. And then they had the Warriors, who, yes, they lost Curry, so we'll take that into account. But they still had Jimmy Butler, who's one of the sport's playoff risers. They have Draymond Green. Ant Edwards really took out 5 Hall of Famers. Think about it. Then on the Thunder side, they had an easy first round series against the jawless Grizzlies for 2 games and still won the first two on merit blowouts. And then they got a Denver team that had gone to 7 with the Clippers and now went to 7 with this OKC team. And they ran them out the gates in game 7. Fresh legs, big thing there. The Wolves took care of business in 5 against the Warriors, so they do have the rest advantage. And the game being on Tuesday is a little weird, especially because it ended on Sunday, that series. But let's get into that game first. So we know we have Anthony Edwards versus Shea. Battle of the young faces of the NBA, the future. Shea most likely winning MVP this year. And Edwards has been a playoff riser. And Edwards has been a top 5 player in this playoffs. He's a top 7 player in basketball. And they're both averaging about 28, 29 points a game. So we know the star power. Julius Randle has been awesome all postseason for Minnesota, 24, 6, and 6. And then on the other side, the second option, J-Dub, 25 and 6 for OKC. The Thunder, they play 10 deep. They have their starting 5 that changes all the time, but it's Shea, it's Lou Dort, it's J-Dub, it's iHeart, and it's Chet. Then their bench unit of Aaron Wiggins, Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, and Jay Will. Then you have the Wolves, who they have a good amount of depth. They have a strong core 8 with their starting 5 of Conley, Ant Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Rudy Gobert. And then you have former Six Man of the Year Naz Reid. We get the battle of the cousins between the Alexanders and Dante DiVincenzo. So the depth here, that's not too much of a big thing to me. I think the depth is pretty even because I could see a world the Thunder do cut Isaiah Joe and Jay Will like they had in game 7, and they just run their core 8, their core defensive 8. OKC is the greatest defensive team of all time relative to their competition. I think OKC has this one. They have Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace to throw at Anthony Edwards. They have the bigs in iHeart, Chet, even J-Dub to throw at Randall. Whereas, yes, the Timberwolves are great defensively. They'll throw McDaniels, they'll throw DiVincenzo, they throw Na at SGA. But I don't know. This is a weird series to me because Rudy Gobert, unironically, is going to be the X factor of this series again. I don't know if Rudy could play against a guy like Chet because OKC has shown that they go to the one big man lineup a good amount. They went to it all of game 7. They started the game with their double bigs and then it didn't come back. They played more Caruso. They played more Cason Wallace. And these are just versatile, switchable defenders. While Cason's a smaller guard, Caruso's a bigger guard. Plays forward. He was guarding Jokic in game 7. Think about that. Whereas Gobert, he's he's just one of those dudes who every year it feels like he's unplayable at specific points because he cannot defend the perimeter. So when OKC goes to a lineup with Chet at the 5, they did a J-Dub at the 5 lineup to close the second quarter against Denver. How does Gobert match up there? This series feels a lot more like it's going to be like round 1, more Naz Reid, less less Rudy Gobert. And then because it's less Rudy Gobert, it also equals less Mike Conley. So then we're getting more DiVincenzo minutes. Nah. The big thing for this series to me is Minnesota wants to win. Jaden McDaniels has to stay out of foul trouble. You saw in the Lakers series guarding Luca, he fouled out in 2 of the games and he was in foul trouble in 3 of them. He's guarding Shea. Shea is as good, if not a better foul baiter than Luka Doncic. How is Jaden McDaniels going to match up there? That's my big question. Then on the other side, Lou Dort, Caruso, Kaysen, with the Ant Edwards matchup, it's Ant's been settling for 10 3-pointers a game, shooting 38%. They need to make him, they got to force him to shoot those open threes. They need to force him to be less dynamic in his offense. And then when he does drive, let's send double. Let's send a double. Let's send a third guy. Let's make other dudes beat them. Their shooting's been streaky. Nas Reed, Jaden McDaniels, both. They've had games where they shot the lights out, and then they'll follow it up with like a 3 for 11 combined. Look at that Lakers series. That's the best way to put it. My pick here, OKC in 6 games. I do think the Wolves will steal game one tonight. But that's the rest advantage right there. It's OKC in 6, and as predicted, OKC is going to the NBA Finals. This series was easier for me to predict. I think OKC is just the better team, though the Wolves do have more playoff experience. Let's shift over to the East. The 4 seed Pacers versus the 3 seed Knicks. And what sucks is these are my two favorite non-Clippers teams. The Pacers, they have a guy like Nemhard, playoff riser. My NBA comparison, top 5 favorite player of mine, Hallie. It's a lot of guys I like. Young, fast-paced, defensive-minded team. And then you have on New York side, they have Josh Hart, who, if you didn't know, is he's my second favorite player in the league. Have Brunson, who's small guard supremacy over here. They just have a lot of good pieces, good defensive pieces. And yet again, it's another defensive-minded team. The Pacers, they run their 10 deep. They have their starting 5 of Hallie, Nemhard, Neesmith, Pascal, and Miles Turner, with their bench unit consisting of Ben Mathurin, TJ McConnell, Sob All-Star right there, Jarris Walker, Ben Shepherd, Obi Toppin, and even Thomas Bryant sometimes. So they do run 11 deep. Whereas the Knicks, you know how Thibodeau is. Thibodeau runs his 5 to the ground. Brunson, McCall, OG, Josh Hart, Cat, Mitch Robb, Deuce McBride. That's their 7. Brunson and Hallie have been two of the best players this postseason. Hallie's averaging 18 and 11, and then you have Brunson, who, in my opinion, if the playoffs ended today, is the playoff MVP. He's been that good. His usage rate is that high. The Knicks are that dependent on him, averaging his 29, 7 assists. But I do not think the series is going to come down to either of these guys. The perimeter defense of both of these teams are elite. Brunson's going to have to deal with Aaron Neesmith guarding him, who Neesmith is a great defender. Nemhard also guarding him. To change, even TJ McConnell. Whereas Halliburton, he has Mikal Bridges, who's one of the best guard defenders in the sport. And usually I would say OG, that's his type of matchup. But OG is going to take Siakam. We know that. OG has his championship experience. OG is an elite defensive player. So is Mikal Bridges. The two of them are going to wreak havoc. I think this series comes down to the non-point guard minutes. What are we getting? And in particular, Karl Anthony Towns versus Pascal Siakam. Both of them have been pretty similar players this postseason, averaging around 19 points per game. Cat's averaging 12 boards. Cat's been better on the boards, but Siakam's a more switchable defender. And I do think that the Indiana Pacers are going to put Cat in the action. The same way they put Brook Lopez in the pick and roll action, and the same way that the Pistons put Cat in the pick and roll action. They are going to make Cat defend. Is he going to switch everything? No. Is he going to hedge? Most likely. But then it becomes, okay, Hallie's taking it. Are you going to go under the screen? Is Cat going to hedge? How are we playing it? And with the pick and pop duo of Cat and Miles Turner, both of them are pick and poppers. They're not rollers, they're more 3-and-D bigs, if anything. Like Miles Turner is the epitome of a 3-and-D basketball big right now. That's his role. It's what he does. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Cat responds to that. And even more so, Mitch Robb. When Mitch Robb's in the game, how are they going to use Mitch Robb? Because he's not, yes, he's a more athletic and more in shape, versatile big. He's very switchable, whatever. How are they going to target Mitch Robb? Because Mitch cannot shoot the 3 ball. He's been terrible shooting free throws. And defensively, they're going to put him in the action. They're going to make him defend a pick and roll, even though he is a good defensive player. And then on the other side, Pascal Siakam's going to have OG Anunoby guarding him, who, yes, OG is an elite defender, but he is slightly smaller. And Siakam, what are we going to get out of you? Because we know Nemhard has been that guy. He is a playoff riser, 15 points per game in the postseason, big shots. Let's go I went and rewatched some of the games from that Knicks Pacers series last year, and you see the shots he's making. Yes, Mikal Bridges wasn't on the team. Yes, OG was hurt. But still, Nemhard is a playoff riser. Nemhard is a good second option, third option in this postseason. And it's just the non-Brunson minutes. Yes, the Knicks still have five guys averaging 10 points per game, but those are their five starters. You have the Pacers who have six guys averaging over 10, and if you push it to 8.5 points, they have eight of them, adding Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell to that group. I trust the Pacers role players more than I trust the Knicks role players. The Knicks offense goes stagnant when Brunson's off the court, and it's too much of a reliance for Brunson to create for everyone else. If we get a Karl Anthony Towns like we got last year against Denver, we're fine. The Knicks can win this series. But it's all a matter of Cat. It's a matter of Cat. It's a matter of McCall, OG. Are they hitting open shots? Josh Hart's going to do Josh Hart things. He's just a pure, great basketball player. And then on the other side, we've seen Andrew Nemhard come up. We've seen Siakam go win a championship. We've seen how big of games Miles Turner's had this whole postseason. Benedict Mathurin can score off the bench for him. Aaron Nesmith is quietly averaging 14.5 points per game this postseason. They have the big thing with the Pacers is they have a group of guys, not a single one over averaging over 19, but they have five guys over 14. They have a group of guys who want to win. They play together. They play fast. And the Knicks probably are the best team to match up with their fast-paced style. But the Pacers, I just trust their offense more than I trust the Knicks offense outside of Brunson. The Pacers are averaging 30 points, 30 assists per game, while the Knicks are averaging 20. It just shows that it's a lot more iso ball, slow down the game for the New York Knicks, whereas it's a lot more, let's speed up, let's make the extra pass, let's run. That's all it is to me. Is I think the Pacers play better as a team, though the Knicks are on paper the better roster. And the Knicks, their three-point shooting is going to be a big thing. It's been pretty streaky this postseason. The Boston series, they didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but Boston just happened to not shoot the ball particularly well either. This is one of those series where if the Knicks are hitting shots, if OG, Mikal Bridges, all the other guys are hitting shots, they win. But if they're not, and the Pacers, we know what we're getting out of the Pacers. They're going to play hard defense. They're going to push the pace. That is the Pacers brand of basketball. And I trust that brand of basketball more than I trust the Knicks Brunson reliant basketball. So I'm taking the Indiana Pacers in a 7-game series. I think that they win in 7. They go into the Garden and win game 7 and advance to their first NBA Finals under Halliburton and Siakam. I'm pushing Halliburton to potentially being a better pacer all time than Paul George. This series was so hard for me to predict, but I just trust the depth of the Pacers more than I trust the depth of the Knicks. And I know the Knicks' depth isn't going to matter much because Thibs going to run his guys to the ground. But just know, if Karl Anthony Towns has a big series, it's the Knicks series to lose. If not, goodbye, New York. Brunson had a great run, and we'll see what happens. My prediction is we have an OKC Thunder against Indianapolis Pacers NBA Finals.
Numbers bring it in. 5 seconds to go. Tie game. Seatbelts are fastened. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness!
God, he got it! 1 second left. Clippers by 2.
The three for the tie. Oh my goodness!